All right, let's get started. Welcome to the latest webinar in Caring.com's Digital Marketing Academy. Our session today is all about how to get great online reviews from your customers. I'm Denise Graab, the Reviews Program Director here at Caring.com, and I'm so thrilled you could join us for this educational session today. Before we dive into the presentation, just a few housekeeping items. This is a one-way webcast where you'll hear me speaking. You can ask any questions at any time during the session. We'll have a Q&A at the end. I already got my first favorite question, and that is whether or not we were recording and sharing the slides afterward. The answer is yes, we definitely are recording this, and we will circulate the slides afterward. We publish them on partners.caring and we send them out via email to all registrants. All right, this session is free of charge, but it's sponsored by Caring.com. And for those of you who are getting to know us, and a refresher for our partners, we are a leading senior living and senior care referral service and the #1 site for reviews of senior services, including assisted living, in-home care, independent living, memory care, residential care homes, and more. In fact, we were one of the first to offer senior living and senior care reviews online. There are some reviews on our site dating back to 2008. We're hosting more than 350,000 consumer reviews currently, and those are on Caring.com and 2 other websites we own. We're collecting thousands of consumer reviews every month. And each year, we compile the list of the best senior living communities and senior care agencies nationwide based on consumer ratings and review responses on Caring.com. This Service Excellence Award was the very first of its kind in our industry. Some of you may know our program is very high integrity, with senior care experts, not algorithms, that are reading the reviews before they get published. We have well-established guidelines that determine which reviews get published and which get taken down. And we have customer service staff available by phone or email if help is ever needed with a review issue. For those of you wondering who I am, I have been at Caring for almost 12 years. My claim to fame is I'm the longest tenure employee here at Caring. I have extensive experience in social media marketing and reviews in particular. In fact, I was part of the original panel who created the review guidelines for Caring, and I've been a key manager of the program in the years since then. I'm the co-creator and manager of the Caring Stars Award program, and I support consumers adding their reviews to our websites, as well as work with businesses like yours nationwide to help manage and optimize online reputation. Lesser known fact about me is that before I joined Caring, I was curating thousands of school reviews for an education website. And in my personal life, I've reviewed over 100 businesses. So I have a lot of experience with online reviews, and I'm excited to share some insights with you today. Now, as usual, for those of you who've been to my webinars before, I'm going to cover a lot of information, and I hope it will be helpful to you. Here's what we're going to focus on. We're going to start with a quick refresher on why building your online review profile is strategic, very important, why you can't just pray for reviews, you have to be proactive, seek them out. And then I'm going to take you through some nuts and bolts on who to ask for reviews, when to ask for them, how to ask for them. I'm going to spend a lot more time in this section, including taking you through some reviewer personas and scenarios to help you and your team become more comfortable and natural in asking for reviews. I often hear from our partners that they aren't sure which review platform to focus on, so I'm going to take you through some key tips and insights about 4 major reviews platforms, and then some immediate steps you can take right after this webinar toward that 5-star goal. And lastly, as promised, we'll do the Q&A. For those of you who joined late, yes, we are recording and we will circulate the slides. Okay, without further ado, let's get started in discussing reviews. In my webinars last year, I was asked if I could incorporate more polling in future sessions. If you were one of those people who made that request, thank you so much. For today's webinar, I've done 2 polls. I did one with the registration for the event, you may recall, and one I'll launch about midway in the presentation. For registration, it was optional to answer, and I asked, do you know how many reviews you have on your caring.com listing? We received close to 900 responses, and here are the results. Nearly a third of you are actively monitoring and know your reviews number. Another 18% of you weren't as positive, but you had a good guess. So combined, half of respondents are familiar with the reputation on caring.com. That's fantastic. The next group, 42%, want to know their number. Good news for you folks. The reviews on Caring are public facing on your business profiles. So if you don't know how to find your listing in the directory, let us know. We can get that link to you after the webinar. The last 8%, surprisingly, don't know and don't care, but that's okay. I take that as a challenge to persuade you otherwise by the end of this presentation. I'm going to be presenting information today aimed at helping all of you, even that 8%. Okay, so back in November 2021, when we announced the first batch of Caring Stars winners for 2022, we shared this brand new data about the volume of searches happening every hour in the United States for senior living and senior care terms. We had a team of SEO experts do this analysis using a third-party tool and focused on the most popular industry keywords that consumers are searching for, general terms like assisted living and nursing homes, even variations with near me or a specific city attached. Senior Housing News reported this number at 6,000 per hour back in 2017. Look where we are today, over 15,500 online searches per hour. And you better believe that ratings and reviews are included in those search results. Let me show you what that looks like right now. Today's marketplace, your potential client and or their family is perusing your online reputation before they're expressing interest, before they're taking tours, before they're returning your calls. They're doing so after they've seen enough reviews to persuade them to do so. You may have heard us previously refer to this as the modern drive-by. So even if your seniors and their family members are getting an offline recommendation from like a doctor, a friend, or a hospital discharge planner, they're still going online to read reviews about the suggested business. Search engines and online directories are showing these ratings commonplace. The reviews are helping businesses rank higher and stand out from their competitors. And on Google, there's a reviews from the web module that you're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen that shows up when somebody does a search for that business name and finds the business page or profile. That's the image on the right, and I've got circled reviews from the web, and Caring is in that module 90% of the time that it appears. We had that studied by SEO experts as well. And so we have well-established authority with Google that we're a leading senior living review site. They include us often in that very first spot. So even if you're not partnered with Caring, if you've got reviews on our site, consumers searching for you are likely to find those. On the left, in the lower left, you're seeing the organic search results, also showing your ratings on caring.com. And at the top left is the search results in the Caring directory. When you're competing against 46 other assisted living facilities in your area, the Caring Stars badge and great reviews helps you rank at the top of those listings, along with being a partner with Caring, as well as helps those consumers gravitate toward your listing, gravitate toward being interested in learning more about you. We know for a fact, we've watched users of our website, they click on the listings with reviews, they skip those that don't have them. So if you don't have the reviews, you're likely losing business to your competitors who do. Now, in case you're skeptical and think I'm biased, let me share some compelling data with you that's not from Caring. Search engine marketing firm Bright Local has surveyed online consumers in the US and Canada for over 5 years. I regularly seek out the research and I encourage you to do the same. In every study in recent years, they found that the vast majority of people nowadays are going to trust an online review as much as personal recommendations. In 2019, they spliced their data by age demographics. Back then, US adults age 55 plus, 71% were reading reviews. Half wouldn't use a business whose rating was lower than 4 stars. The pandemic, I hope you know this, the pandemic changed the game, dramatically boosted online use. Today, in the 2022 survey by Bright Local, only 2%, a little sliver represented in just an arm of one of those people, only 2% of US consumers never read online reviews when they're browsing local businesses. That means 98% are. Everybody is reading online reviews nowadays. That's a key message for you right there. And what I found particularly interesting in this year's study was they asked consumers which types of businesses are reviews most important to them. Look at the top 3. This covers our industry. Some of you are providing services in all 3 areas. Care services, 83% of consumers said that reviews were extremely important to them for care services. So again, if you're not focusing on reviews, we got to get that fixed fast. Now back to caring data. We've studied the influence of reviews on inquiry and conversion performance for our partners since 2016. We didn't narrow to positive reviews only. We looked at volumes of reviews across all ratings. I've done this analysis multiple times over the years and have repeatedly seen that reviews positively impact sales and marketing. I just did a study 2 weeks ago, and I found that partner listings with 16 plus reviews averaged nearly 3x more leads, 4x more tours, and 5x more move-ins than listings with only 1 to 2 reviews. That's a huge boost. And obviously results are going to vary. This is not a performance guarantee, but it's indicative of the influence that reviews are having on the senior living searchers and senior care searchers online. So in addition to that directory engagement data, I wanted you to see or hear from real people who've posted reviews on caring.com. You can see in these excerpts, they are telling you how important the reviews are to them and others just like them, both positive and negative reviews here. Okay, reviews can also help you earn the Caring Stars Award. I mentioned this earlier. We have an entire webinar on Caring Stars qualification. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on how to qualify today, but we'll have a webinar in August. You can come to that. I'm going to give you just a few tips. Any senior living community or home care agency that's listed on Caring can qualify if you meet the rigorous criteria based on consumer reviews. You do not have to be a Caring partner to qualify for this award. There's some confusion on that. But we do have performance data for those who are partnered with us, and we compared the Caring Stars partners to those that hadn't won the award. We found the Caring Stars winners averaged more than twice as many inquiries, nearly 3 times as many move-ins than the non-winning listings. So it is definitely something to strive for. The deadline's October 15th. There are no fees associated with this award. There are some other awards out there that are charging for both resident or client surveys, as well as fees for licensing the award badge. There's no application, there's no fees for Caring Stars. The promo kits and badge are free. And for our partners, we even provide free consumer surveys by phone to help them build up their online reviews. So it can be an entirely free experience that boosts your sales and marketing. To me, this is a no-brainer. I would definitely focus on this if I were running your online reputation. Okay, now let's talk about this little known fact. Having online reviews about your business and responding to them can drive even more success for your online reputation. In 2018, Harvard Business Review found that if you respond to reviews you receive, you get more reviews and higher ratings thereafter. I've shared this study in prior webinars, and one of our largest partners put it to the test. They looked at their response rate and review volume in 2019 versus 2020, and they saw, and in 2021 as well, and they saw similar review volume and rating increases that Harvard found when they increased their response rate. So they proved this data to be true for their portfolio. We're going to be covering more. Some of you are like, I don't know how to respond to reviews. I believe you, but I don't know how to do it. No problem. We have a whole webinar on that next month. Hopefully you can join us for that too. Okay, I'm regularly analyzing the reputation portfolios of our largest customers. I wanted you to see two sample profiles. Obviously, I'm not going to name these folks, but on the left is a stellar reputation. On the right, one that needs some improvement. The question I pose here is rhetorical, obviously, because I think it's pretty clear. Consumers are more likely to gravitate to the organization with a great overall average rating, lots of recent reviews, and the Caring Stars Award for service excellence. Try to be like organization A, but if you are org B, don't give up. There are things you can do to turn that around. You're in the right place. So let's discuss some of those practical strategies to help you attain a stellar reputation like Org A. But first, a poll. Let me just launch it here. Okay. Hopefully you are seeing the poll. We are looking for how often are you currently asking your customers for online reviews? Don't worry, I'm not going to announce your name and answer. We will show the results in aggregate, but don't be shy. Answer honestly. There's no penalties, no embarrassing, no shaming here. It's all about learning here. Okay, I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds. Look like we're still getting some responses here. All right. Thank you so much for people that are giving us your answers. I love it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end this poll now because we got a lot to cover in this session. All right, let's take a look at those results. So it looks like we have most of you are doing it sporadically. 14% are never doing it. And we have about 22% that are looking or asking 2 to 3 times per month. 3%, thanks for being honest that you were too embarrassed to say. But good news is I'm going to be sharing how to ask for reviews so you can, and a cadence for doing it so we can get some improvement on those numbers. Okay, so earlier I told you about how more boomers and seniors are online nowadays than ever before. But let's not forget, these are not the original Yelpers like their children and grandchildren. Some of these older adults will eventually find their way to post a review about your business, including some that are dissatisfied with your services. For many, though, they will need you to ask, encourage, and empower them to share their feedback in online reviews. Doing this right can help you build your online reputation faster and help balance any of the 1-star and 2-star reviews you've received. Once again, I'm showing you here the voices of Caring.com reviewers. They admit they're not avid reviewers, but they were compelled to share their reviews. And by the way, 2 of the 4 reviews I'm showing you here were 4-star and 5-star positive ratings. Imagine what you can accomplish if you put focus and energy into getting more of those types of happy customers to share their feedback online. To be most successful in building your online reputation, you need to think about asking for reviews beyond a one-off project and instead build a culture that solicits and sincerely values feedback. And you're ready and good at asking for reviews at any time. Your organizational leaders can help reinforce reviews as priority. They can send a clear message that customer feedback truly matters to the success of the business, and have everyone throughout the organization focused on customer service and taking opportunities as they arise to get great reviews. You can use this to celebrate your great employees as well. We've even heard from some communities and agencies that their online consumer reviews actually help them attract and retain great caregivers because those employees wanted to be part of a company doing great work and they loved seeing what consumers were saying about the community or agency. Make sure your employees are trained to understand best practices for online reviews. Don't pressure seniors to give reviews. I have gotten phone calls from seniors who felt pressured and asked me to take the review down. So it's just a waste of your time. It's going to sour the relationship. Don't pressure or force them to give reviews. Um, and the other thing is make sure you have systems and practices in place to seize the review opportunities in the course of the natural workday. I'm going to share some reviewer personas and sample scenarios that come up in just a few moments. I'm also going to tell you about caring and how we're doing it. Maybe that will inspire you as well. We have review request outreach cadences that we have built into our standard operations that have been in play for over 5 years. For instance, when we refer family caregivers and seniors to local communities or home care agencies, we follow up to find out if they'd be willing to share a review for any of the communities or agencies they considered or selected. We also follow up and collect feedback about how well our family advisors serve their needs. We do that within 24 hours of making a referral for them. And you'll see we have very high marks on FIFO.com, above 4 stars and thousands of reviews praising our referral services from the consumers who have actually used those services. And while asking for reviews is an anytime project, there are still some moments that are the right moments in particular. For instance, is it appropriate to ask for a review right after the senior or their family member signed a contract? I wouldn't recommend that because they haven't yet received your services. But you could include a review us insert in the onboarding or welcome packet, and you could check in a few weeks later to see if they do have any feedback about how things are going and would be willing to share a review online if they haven't already done so. In general, you need to be opportunistic but supportive. Encourage your customers to transition their positive feedback to online reviews, but at all costs, avoid posting reviews for them. Be proactive, do outreach campaigns, create opportunities to receive feedback. I'm going to share a specific caring partner story next. Don't pressure, we talked about that. Never force anyone, and also don't pay or incentivize for reviews. And don't be apologetic. Be grateful and encouraging with motivation of the other consumers in mind. So it's not, I'm sorry, can you give us an online review? Our sales manager's putting pressure on me to get more online reviews. No, 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 no. That's not how you want to approach it. We really love your feedback. We'd love to have you go online and share a review so we can help other families find our services too, right? Help others like you. And follow up politely. It's not just ask once and you're done. You may have to ask several times politely. Okay, so last week, I was fortunate to participate in an expert panel on Foresight TV discussing online reviews with Steve Moran of Senior Living Foresight, Nick Waslin of Savant, and Aaron Kessler of Senior Village Management. Senior Village Management was among the top 5 in Caring Stars 2022. They had over 30 winning listings. And Erin talked about how her organization has built an environment that's just craving feedback. She shared that their customers know they'll take feedback in any form, in person, via email, in online reviews, and that they really take that feedback to heart, that they want to make life in their communities that much better for their residents and their residents' family members, and also for their staff and partners too. What I'm showing here, these are just some of Erin's comments highlighting how they're building a culture of reviews. And I just have to say, I think Erin and her team have an excellent attitude toward reviews. As she put it, A lot of opportunities come out of these reviews, even if negative feedback. It's telling you about a problem you can solve. This is one way that Senior Village Management has been building trust in senior living, helping them foster good relations and grow the success of their portfolio. I highly encourage you to watch that half-hour segment just to hear more of what Erin shared. She was just really impressive. I hope that you will learn from her as we have. Okay, now I know many of you are struggling with recruiting, so you may be focused on getting the employee reviews. That's fine, but please remember, employee reviews are prohibited on caring.com and Google, and on some of the other major consumer platforms too. Staff reviews are appropriate for recruiting sites like Glassdoor and Indeed, and for featuring on your business website instead. So for the consumer sites, you want to focus on getting reviews from your cognitively healthy seniors. So please don't ask memory care residents. Assisted living and independent living is okay. And their family members and friends who visit those residents in the community who have firsthand experience with your services, typically within 3 years of the review submission. Please avoid asking anyone with a conflict of interest, such as your vendors, your referral partners, your industry colleagues. Resist the temptation to ask your Chamber of Commerce buddies to do you a favor, or even your mom. Yes, I have received. My daughter is an excellent professional caregiver reviews. We decline those. So focus on the consumers that you're serving, not the professional connections or your personal friends and family. And never buy online reviews. In recent years, the Federal Trade Commission has been increasing its focus on fair practices in online consumer reviews, and has specific guidelines about paid or incentivized reviews. So unless you have an ACE legal team that's thoroughly analyzed and blessed your review generation activities, I recommend you stay away from any compensation, stay away from incentives. So $500 off first month if you give us an online review. Stay away from that. Don't do it. Resist that. And I'm going to share some alternative ways you can build your online reputation for free. First, I want to take you through some specific scenarios where these opportunities arrived. This is Mary. She's the adult daughter. She booked the agency services for her mother. When she paid the agency's bill, she included a note with some positive feedback. So what do we know about Mary? We know Mary's pretty comfortable online. She regularly posts product and service reviews, but she's busy. Often Mary is still working with children in the home still. She's part of the sandwich generation, caring for both children and elders at the same time. You need to make it convenient for her to give a review. And know this about Mary. This is something Caring has studied since the beginning of our reviews program. Mary is motivated to help other family caregivers just like her. She wants them, she knows how hard caregiving is. She wants to make an easier time for them to get help. She would love to give an online review to help somebody else just like her find your agency and have some relief in their life. So send Mary a thank you note for the positive feedback she gave you when she sent in her payment. Ask if she'll help those others by giving the online review. Give her the review submission link. Remember, Mary's tech savvy. Don't just tell her to go to caring.com or Google. Don't make it hard on her. Don't make her go scroll and try to find where to enter her review. Take her right to the review submission link. And know this, Mary has good intentions, but you may need to follow up with her via text or a second email in a couple weeks, just to follow through and ensure you get that review from Mary. Okay, now let's talk about Steve. His dad is in memory care and he visits him every week. And he regularly compliments the staff on the excellent care, and he just loves how well his dad is engaged. So here's what we know about Steve. He, like Mary, he's also very comfortable online. He has email. He likes to text. But Steve isn't on social media as much as Mary is. He's probably still working too. And so you need to make giving a review convenient for him as well. He is likewise motivated to give back and making it helping others to find great care for their parents with dementia too. Make sure your frontline caregivers know how to seize this opportunity to encourage the review appropriately, even if that just means them giving the feedback to the marketing or reputation management team for the marketing or rep management team to follow up with Steve. Make sure to thank Steve for the positive feedback he shares. Ask if he's willing to help others find the community's high quality services by giving an online review. Make it easy for Steve. Give him the review submission link. And you can also, if you're a partner of Caring, give him a handout with a call-in line if Steve would rather do that, give a review by phone. Now let's talk about Barbara. She's been in her independent living community for 3 years. She regularly participates in activities. She loves the dining. She compliments the dining regularly. Barbara has a smartphone and email, but she's a relative novice at both. She's retired, so she has time to give a review, but you still need to make it easy. Don't forget she's a novice. And she wants to attract great neighbors and she wants new friends in the community. So that's one of the motivations for Barbara and why she'd be willing to go online. She wants to bring some cool people just like her to your independent living community by sharing how great it's been for her. So approach her, reconfirm, confirm she's still currently satisfied with your service. Ask her to help others like her and build the community of great residents like her by sharing an online review. And just like Steve, give her a couple options. Do not enter the review for Barbara, even if she asks you to. You want to avoid that. Most review platforms are going to catch that activity and decline that review, wasting Barbara's time and not generating any success for you. And here's a tip I want to give you. Some of the seniors like Barbara are still learning the internet landscape. They aren't as familiar with some of the scams and bad behavior that can happen on the internet. So I recommend that you guide Barbara. We do it at Caring all the time. Guide her, give her a tip not to use her real full name as the reviewer's screen name. Because remember, the page where Barbara is entering her public review has her home address. So it would have her home address and her full name. So that would be a way for nefarious individuals to call the community and possibly try to scam Barbara. We don't want that to happen from Barbara posting an online review. So we're going to help her by asking her to use an anonymous screen name or only her first name, not her full name. Let's talk about Bob and Linda next. They're downsizing and they anticipate some future care needs. They have some family history. They anticipate one or both are going to need some care down the road and they don't want to move again. They're looking at assisted living. They went on some tours and they gave positive feedback verbally. What do we know about Bob and Linda? They have email and smartphones, but they're likely to prefer the in-person and phone-based communication. They both have time to give a review. They're not like Steve and Mary. They have time, but you still need to make it as easy as possible. And they, like Barbara, want to help others find a new home and they want to attract people just like them because they're going to be living next to these folks. So thank them in person and also do an email follow-up. Ask them if they'd be willing to share an online review about their tour experience. Just like the others, give them multiple options, including if you're a caring partner, the handout with the review call-in line. And just like Barbara, even though they aren't yet living in the community, they might soon be living in the community if you did a fantastic job persuading them of what an awesome community you have. Remind them not to use their full real name as their reviewer screen name for all the reasons I told you about Barbara. Okay, so those are the personas, just a few examples. I'm sure you're thinking of some in that you've come across too. This doesn't cover all of them. It's just some that I was able to think of for you that I come across. Now, I hear from some community and agency staff that while they know reviews are important, they don't know what to say. They're uncomfortable. You want to be as conversational as possible, be polite, professional, and like I mentioned earlier, unapologetic. So here are two samples. In both samples, we thank the potential reviewer, we share why their feedback matters, and we move into the ask gracefully. Give some thoughts to what you and your staff would say in response to on the spot compliments. This is what I was talking about on the elevator pitch earlier. Be ready for when these moments arrives so you can take advantage of them. I also recommend doing the proactive outreach campaigns. I can't say this enough. Build it into your operations. This is particularly important if you're feeling frustrated or experiencing challenges in getting the consumers to follow through on submitting the reviews. That's a question comment I get a lot. So you're not just asking for reviews once. You got to follow up. You got to monitor. This is a sample cadence campaign with various tactics. And ask yourself, have you built a list of potential reviewers that you're confident would give a review? Have you tailored your outreach to them based on the personas we talked about? Are you monitoring for the reviews? Have you done your thank yous and check-ins with potential reviewers in a polite and friendly manner? Did you take the time to respond to reviews? Are you sharing on your social media profiles excerpts of the positive reviews you're getting and linking to those listings as proof that those are real reviews? And then have you moved on to a secondary or third list of potential reviewers? Now, if you've done one or two rounds, move on to the next group of potential reviewers. Or better yet, build that review solicitation into your standard daily and weekly practices, like what I described we do at Caring. It's just automatically built in. It just happens as part of us doing business. And now some people push back on me with this chart. They don't have enough staff for this much attention to this endeavor. I get it. It's okay. You may need to just bake it out longer. Make it a 3-month plan. Make it a 6-month plan. Do what's right for you, but make sure you have these activities built in. Don't give up. Just be realistic on what you can achieve and how much longer it's going to take you given your limited resources. Now, Review Trackers is one of Caring's review integration partners. Senior living communities and home care agencies can use their software to monitor reviews on caring.com and submit responses. They also help businesses monitor reviews on other websites as well. This is some data they shared about the best times to do outreach based on what they've seen most effective for their customers. They also shared that this timing was particularly true for Google. And in releasing this data, they suggested that since people are often visiting businesses during their lunch break or after work, these hours are good times for those consumers to reflect on their experience and give an online review. So give it a try and see if it works for you. But there's also some times to avoid. Sometimes we receive emails from a home care partner asking us to call a client to collect a review, and they add a note. Her husband just died. Please call right away, because they're worried the consumer will forget what the agency did for them or won't give a greater review if they wait. This is mistaken. If you do a stellar job, that consumer is going to remember and appreciate it for months and possibly years to come. Reaching out to them right after the death of their loved one is not a good time to ask them to go online and post a review. Give them their space to grieve. Check in on them after about other needs and support, right? How can you support them at this time? And give it a little bit more time before you ask for the review. Conversely, you don't want to go dig through your client records from 10 years ago and ask those folks to give you a review. Focus on any of your customers in the last 3 years, but don't go much further back than that. I also recommend you not include the ask in the bill, particularly not during these times of economic strain in our country. You could, though, showcase your Caring Stars Award badge in the bill. So highlight your Service Excellence Awards to gently remind the consumer of your stellar services and potentially ease any of that sticker shock. I also get asked for sample review solicitations via email. This is one you could send after recently receiving positive feedback from a satisfied customer. It starts by thanking the customer for their kind words, shifts to helping more families and seniors just like them. What a meaningful difference an online review from her could make. It lets her know it won't take too much of her time and makes it convenient for her. And it closes with a focus back on serving the customer. Presenting the business is open to receiving more feedback directly on the best ways to continue serving them. And this also helps avoid negative feedback landing in the online review because it's encouraging her to speak directly with you about any concerns you're not yet aware of. Another tip I have for you here is there's a tool called omnisend.com. It's free. You just go to that website and you can type in the email subject line and it'll tell you the likelihood of that email getting opened based on studying of millions of emails. And also they look at spam words and things like that, things that are going to land you in the spam folder instead of the inbox. I put this subject line, will you help others like you, in their tool, and it scored 92%. And we know this subject line works because we know that most reviewers in senior living and senior care, that's their number one motivation for giving a review, helping others like you. It's not to slander your business. It's not to do your business a favor. It's to help others just like them. Super important. Okay, this is a sample dialogue that you might have by phone and asking. This is obviously a guide. With phone calls, you need to practice active listening and adapt to the flow of the conversation. This just gives you a framework. It's not a mandated script. So you reassure the consumer you're not calling with any bad news about their loved one in your care. You make sure you've caught them at a good time. You remind them of recent positive feedback they shared and how that feedback posted online could really help others like them. You check the best way for them if they want to go online or give a review by phone. Then you give them what they need to make it happen as quickly and easily as possible. And remember, close with that opportunity for them to give you any additional feedback so that you can learn about any unmet needs. Okay, let's transition to the major platforms, and then we're going to get to an action plan and Q&A. This will be real quick. All right, I know some of you have small teams, limited resources, and you have lots of other things to do during your day. So I wanted you to understand the 4 major platforms most commonly used for reviews in our industry, help you prioritize your efforts, do more with less. So in asking for a review, consider which review platform and which review submission option you think is best for the person you're asking to increase your odds of that outreach actually producing a stellar online review for you. For instance, the young adult granddaughter of your resident or your client is likely to have a Yelp account and be comfortable with posting a review on that platform. The adult daughter in her 50s and the residents are likely better suited for a site like Caring that has both online or reviews by phone and understands the nuances of senior living and senior care. And then, you just want to, and the adult daughter, she's like we talked about, she's tech savvy. So the online, push her toward online. That's the fastest, easiest, and is on Caring. We publish those within 3 days of receiving them. Match the reviewer to the best platform for them. Last July, we did an in-depth webinar with review trackers on these 4 platforms. We had detailed guidance on each of them. Review trackers presented that information. This is just a high-level summary. I'm, of course, biased toward caring.com, but please know, this is all factual information. This is not an opinion-based chart. This is fact. These are the experiences of both consumers and businesses on each of these platforms. And again, these are the most found in online search. The slides will be circulated after, so you'll have a copy of this. I also have some additional tips for each of the platforms to help you with the matching appropriately and some strategic decisions if you can't focus on all. My expert recommendation, if you can only focus on 2, choose Caring and Google. Keep in mind, though, that Google is online only. So if you have residents who aren't comfortable online, connect them to Caring and the phone-based review submission. You'll also need to monitor your reviews on Google very closely because they prohibit disgruntled employee and competitor reviews, but they aren't actively monitoring. And they're not screening like Caring is. Somebody has to come along and flag those reviews. For Yelp, most of this webinar is completely irrelevant because they prohibit you from asking for reviews. They require folks to already know about them. And they have some directory related penalties for businesses that get caught violating this term. So I would avoid having review us on Yelp in your email signature. It's not worth it. And then the other thing we've found from users on this platform and review trackers validated, Reviews often get hidden on Yelp if the reviewer hasn't verified their account and doesn't have like friends, like a network of other Yelpers attached to their profile. So that can be frustrating, right? You spend all this time, they go to Yelp, they submit a review, and then it never publishes. And Facebook, in my opinion, is the trickiest of all four I'm showing you here. If you don't have excellent online community managers managing your page on Facebook, I suggest you turn off the recommendations feature. No offense, Facebook. I'm on Facebook every day. I don't have a beef with Facebook, but their recommendations feature has some elements that are high risk. For instance, I've seen consumers post really disturbing images that seemingly violate the senior's medical privacy. I have found it very difficult to get Facebook to pay attention to these matters. And I've seen that consumers can just pile on their comments, creating a mob environment against the business. It can get really ugly on that platform, and it takes some sophistication in managing it. So keep that in mind if you have that feature turned on. For caring, we're screening every review against our guidelines before it's published. We're not screening for which ones are our favorite. We aren't screening based on advertising contracts. That is false. The review guidelines are the same across all reviews, all listings. We are making sure that the content we are receiving matches the guidelines, is within the guidelines, and that we're confident it meets the guidelines. We don't want fake reviews on our platform. So that is why we are screening, to maintain high integrity. And we also have easy ways for you to reach us if any get through that have factual errors or HIPAA concerns, or you think we missed something in the guidelines analysis. We are willing to take a look, and you can reach us easily. These are some tools we have available. We have online reviews by phone and the handouts. I'm happy to share more information about any of these with you. Just contact Reviews at Caring. Not going to spend a lot of time on this right now. I want to get to your Q&A. I am seeing some questions are coming through, but I'm happy to answer your questions about our program. We also have lots of information about these options on partners.caring. This is what our partner portal solicitation tool looks like for those of you who are senior living partners of ours. We do all the heavy lifting. All you have to do is upload your list of consumer emails, add your business signature, and you can do a mass blast outreach campaign. We are not marketing anything else to those consumers. You don't have to worry we're going to refer them to your competitor. We are simply sending that review solicitation on your behalf. And then we're telling you how many reviews got generated. We're not telling you exactly who gave which review, but we're telling you, you sent 50 solicitations, you got 10 reviews, congratulations. We have found this is really effective for winning Caring Stars. It's super easy. You can do a mass blast to a lot of people in a few minutes. And I've been talking about this all webinar. I'm just so excited about it. We launched this service in January 2021. We were the first in the industry to offer this. It is a review call-in line. So our partners contact Reviews at Caring. We give them a flyer. We give them some tips. They print the flyer, distribute it to the consumers. We also have digital assets where you can co-brand the flyer, put some of your own tips on there. And then the reviewer calls the number, speaks to an expert collection agent. We've been doing this for years. It's a thorough interview, producing high quality reviews. It's on a recorded line. So there is proof that Caring didn't write that review. The consumer gave that feedback. We transcribe the recording, we get it uploaded. There are no fees for this service. So more of you who are partners need to take advantage of this. This is a great way to build your online reviews. Okay, let's talk about that quick action plan, and then let's answer some of those questions I see building up. Okay, 5 steps to 5 stars. That's what I call my action plan. It's one slide. 1, visit your listing on Caring. Assess your reputation profile. Do you have at least 15 reviews? Have you had 4 reviews in the last year? Do all your negative reviews have a response? How's your overall average rating? Take a look at who's given you a review and who hasn't. Make sure, number 2, Identify and outreach to happy customers with email addresses. This is what we call the low-hanging fruit. These are the people that you can give them that review submission link to make it super easy and quick for them. But you can also give them, if you're a partner of Caring, that review call-in line number if they'd rather just do it by phone. And we've talked about this throughout the webinar. Make it as easy as possible, help others like them, raise awareness about your high quality services, but don't do it for them. Don't incentivize. Step 3, add a review us on Caring. We call this call to action on your website and in your email signature. And you could use the handout if you're a partner. Step 4, at a minimum, make sure all the negative reviews have a response. I know you can't, some of you don't have time to respond to all the reviews. Some of you are, but if you can only respond to some, do the negative. Those are most important for a review response. We're going to cover lots of tips on that next month. And if you've won the Caring Stars Award, promote the heck out of that. That will help you get more reviews and help build your business. Like I mentioned, we've seen data that Caring Stars badge is a service excellence indicator, social proof that's going to attract more potential customers for you. And we provide a free promo kit. So you can't, there's one caveat on this. You can't just scrape or copy and paste your reviews from Caring or Google or Facebook to some other website. Nearly every website has copyrights and terms of service that prohibit that. But there are other ways you can get reprint permissions. There's ways you can do excerpts with links. I want you to contact Reviews at Caring if you need help with understanding reprint guidelines and how you can share your reviews on other platforms. Okay, now let me open up here and see all of the questions we've been getting. Okay, great. First question is, how do I get the review link for caring.com? Excellent question. Every listing in our directory, you don't have to be partnered with us. Every listing in our directory has a write a review button. If you click that, it changes the URL of the listing, takes the user directly to the review submission link. So you want to click that button on your listing and get the URL for the review submission. If any of this is confusing you because I'm giving it to you verbally and not visually showing you right now, no problem. Email reviews@caring.com. I will provide your review submission link to you, or my team will, to help you get started on asking for that. And the partner portal campaign, by the way, automatically helps consumers find where to give you a review. Okay. So it's one question we got was, could I elaborate more on the guidance I gave around screen names, and doesn't Google require actual names? So I can't speak for the other platforms. It is true, some other platforms do require full real names. So maybe that's not a good match for a senior living resident. For us on Caring, we guide senior living residents not to put their full real name, their phone number, their email, their date of birth, their social security number. Yes, I have received reviews with that kind of details. That's called personally identifiable information. It unnecessarily increases risk of nefarious internet behavior. We don't want seniors to have any negative outcomes from posting online reviews. We want them to have an awesome experience. So that's why I made the recommendation of guide them to use first name, last initial, or anonymous name like Snoopy, something like that, right? There's lots of different, reviewer 10, whatever. You get the point. So thank you for that question. All right, let's see what else we got over here. Okay, this is a great question. What is the difference between being on your website and being a Caring partner? Can the company be listed and available to post reviews but not pay for anything? I love this question. Being listed on our website, Caring has a very comprehensive directory. So we're getting public information about businesses regularly, including businesses that are not partnered with us. So senior living communities, home care agencies, geriatric care managers, We're providing an informational service to consumers, and the reviews program, sometimes consumers will submit reviews for businesses we don't yet have listed, but that are licensed in their state. So we'll go ahead and create a free listing for that business. None of the businesses on our website can post reviews on their own listing. So glad you asked about that. Only consumers can post reviews on our site. It is free. We don't charge for any of the review services. We have some added conveniences for our partners, like automated alerts, reviews by phone, the review handouts. All of that costs us money. And so it's a free value add for our partners. We don't offer it on a fee basis, but it's not available for those that have a free listing. So thank you for that question. But just to be clear, I said it during the webinar, but I want to make it absolutely clear. The review guidelines are the same across all of the reviews. Being a partner doesn't mean you get special privileges. I just had this week someone threatened to cancel their contract if I didn't take down a review. I can't consider that information. My team can't look at that. We're only looking at the guidelines and the review content. We obviously want to keep our partnerships, but I can't take down a review to keep a partnership. That's not how an integrity reviews program works. So please don't make those requests. Okay, let's see, what else do we have on here? All right, let's see. Oh, best ways to mitigate bad reviews. Lots of ideas on that. Please join us in July. We're going to go into lots of detail about that. Oh, hey, we just got a tip from Bob at Influence Network. They are one of our integration partners too. Thanks for joining us today, Bob. He wants to note that Google does require a screen name, but it does not need to be the real or full name. So back to that original person that asked, thanks, Bob, for that insight. So we can encourage those residents not to use their full real name on Google as well. Great, thank you, Bob. Let's see, what else do we have here? Am I correct that anyone that tours can post a review on Caring even if they are not using Caring services? You are absolutely correct. Thank you. We will accept reviews from any of your customers within the last 3 years who are qualified to participate. So if you have an employee, our site's not a match for that employee to submit a review. They could go to Glassdoor, Indeed, they could share a testimonial on your website. But for any of your seniors that are considering moving in, or their family members that are touring to help a senior move in, yes, we'll take a review from them. Absolutely. Okay, great. And then those of you that are asking questions about how to, the cost for referrals and online advertising with Caring, we're going to follow up with you separately about that. We have entire webinars focused on that. I don't want to get people confused. The reviews program is no charge, so I'm going to take those questions offline, but I really do appreciate your interest. Here's a good question. Postcards. They're asking, can we submit postcards? I know some communities are out there are collecting reviews on their own postcards. Caring discontinued the reviews by postcard program last year. We stopped distributing blank cards in March 2021, and we stopped accepting inbound reviews by postcard in September 2021. I'll tell you why. We gave it a shot for over 5 years. We found it was the least effective, slowest, and most error-prone way to get reviews. It was creating frustrations for everybody, and it was costly with little to no results. So it just wasn't a good way to help consumers conveniently give their online reviews. And frankly, the reviews that we did receive were not high quality reviews. People are less likely to give a great review on a postcard than they are via an online form or via a phone call with a trained agent. Really glad, and we do not accept under any circumstances reviews sent to us by staff of the business, even if on behalf of a consumer. So if you are collecting feedback on feedback cards that your community has created yourself, that's great for you to collect feedback. Just like Aaron talked about, they're collecting feedback all sorts of ways, but that does not qualify as content that we'll publish on caring.com. Okay, Now, let's see, what else do we have? Almost out of time, so I just want to make sure I don't go over. Oh, I only got a few more minutes. Okay, we're getting questions about how to update your profile. I'll follow up with you guys on that directly. Um, if a bad review is published and it was clearly not your agency or caregivers, can it get taken down? Contact Reviews at Caring to contest any review on our site. Factual based errors, you think it's misplaced. We have lots of information about the reviewers on the back end that you're not seeing on the public facing reviews. So we're happy to look into it. We're going to talk about that more next month. Okay, we only have a couple more minutes, and I think I've covered all of the questions I saw. If I didn't get to yours, I'm very sorry. I will follow up with you afterward. Love that conversation. I just want to make sure to summarize some key takeaways for you here. We talked about how influential and important reviews are today. They are boosting sales for senior living communities and home care agencies, but you need to build a feedback culture and be proactive. Can't just pray and hope. You got to take action. Make it convenient and easy. Remember those personas we went through. And remember, we are Caring as a high integrity platform, and we're a longtime industry leader. Uh, I said this a few times, I'm going to say it again. Same guidelines across the board. Can't buy your way out of negative reviews. But we are fair, and we do have a process for contesting. And we also have tools and tips to support both consumers and businesses. We're here to help. You're going to be prompted to tell us how you thought this webinar was. I want you not to be shy. I want you to give feedback. The feedback we get in these webinars, we use it. I adapted this webinar based on the feedback I got last year on the webinars I did. I really value your opinions, and I hope you're going to share your thoughts with us. You're going to be prompted as soon as I end this. I want to thank you for attending our webinar. I hope you found the information helpful. Thank you so much. Goodbye for now.